I want to welcome everybody to the third presentation for our camp meeting. It's Sabbath morning where we are, locally. If it's Sabbath for you, I want to wish you a blessed Sabbath experience wherever you may be. Let's open with a word of prayer. Holy God, we thank you that you might guide, direct and bless us. We thank you for the blessings of this Sabbath. And as we commit to attempting to hear your voice today, we ask that we would participate not only one with another, but with the Holy Spirit guiding and directing. In Jesus' name, Amen. In yesterday's study, I don't know if we got off track or lost direction a little bit. I was asked a question, or someone gave an opinion, and there seemed to be some confusion about terms that I've used. So these were in connection to studies that were done at a previous camp meeting. Where I'd used the term panoramic and dispensational. And I think I've now, at this camp meeting, in trying to explain what I said, used the word fractals. And the conclusion of all of that was that it seemed to confuse at least a few people. So we spoke about it off camera, and I'm hoping that I clarified those points. So does anybody have any questions on that matter? So the reason it came up is because when I asked a question, yesterday, why an election? One of the answers I got was an Eden to Eden model of election to election. And there were questions on what type of a model that is. Whether it's a panoramic model or a progressive model. So unless there are any further questions on that, I'm happy to leave that aside and move on. Okay, no hands up, so I'm going to move on. So just want to go back to this point, these dates or events that I'd marked. I'd marked 4 there. So I'm going to rewrite them out here. So we have 18th of July, 5th of November, we didn't check the dates before. I don't know if someone can confirm if it is the 17th of December that I put there to make sure that it wasn't a mistake. Are we okay 17th? Because not 16th? Okay, I'll put 17th. I'll keep it as 17th. So I didn't put this next one on. I'm going to put it in parentheses. And then we had the 20th of January. Okay, so we've got the RNC for this one. We've got the election. And if you remember, I put the term ratification of the election for December. And I've been told that's not an accurate statement of what happens in December. I've been told it's not an accurate representation of what happens in December. So January 6th is actually the ratification. Maybe you wouldn't use the word ratification. I don't know if anybody has another word. So I'm going to use certification, if that's okay. I did hear what you'd said, Kathy. So the certification of the election. So we've got the inauguration. How would we mark the December event? With the microphone if you're going to speak.
The vote by the Electoral College.
So I know it's the Electoral College, but I just wanted to put what it was here. What happens?
They vote.
So the Electoral College votes, but there's already been a vote in November. That's why I called it ratification at the time, because it's a ratification of the vote in November. That's how I framed it. Because January 6th is the ratification of what happens in December.
December 11th, the certificates of ascertainment are due.
I just need one word or two maximum.
Well, December 17th, they vote. They meet and they vote. Electors meet in all 50 states. One vote for each president, vice president.
Is that good enough for everybody? Everybody understands what that meant? Because if I just put vote, I'm happy to move on.
Electors vote.
Sure, but I don't put who did what in January the 6th, and you're okay for me not to do that. Okay, I'm going to leave it as vote. Because the way you win an election isn't by one person, one vote in the United States. We've discussed this numerous times in presentations. I mentioned that when I spoke about this. I'm only bringing it up again because people didn't like the word ratification for December. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. I'm just letting you know.
I know you only want, what's not on? Ready? I know you only want one word, but since there's two voting systems, you want to say, okay. How about if we say November 5th, people vote? December 17th, electors vote.
So feel free to put that in your notes if you want to. I'm only going through this because someone wanted me to add January the 6th. So when anybody speaks about something that you have said, they often can misunderstand, or it can appear that they misrepresent you. So I want to clarify. When I said why an election, I thought I was clear and explicit that when I said all the speakers have put their studies in the framework of an election, this past election, I wasn't focusing on November. I think I was clear on that. If you're not clear on some points, all of us know that Elder Terry marks the Sunday law as July, and July was not the election. So if one of the speakers chooses another date or event, which is what I suggested, I think I'm portraying what they're teaching accurately. So I just wanted to clarify that. Not perhaps for people here, but the question or the critique that I've received. While we're here, if I put the 5 names, put your hands up or ask for the mic. Tell me what event or date these people are picking. Aaron?
Aaron is November 5.
So, Aaron, c'est le 5 novembre.
Ariane doesn't really give a date.
Ariane ne donne pas vraiment une date.
Curtis bookend the first waymark of the arrival of the Sunbello from July 18 to December 17.
Curtis, lui, il place l'arrivée du dimanche dans la période du 18 juillet au 17 décembre.
Elena, I believe it's the whole year that she takes into account.
Je crois que c'est l'année entière.
Which year?
Quelle année?
2025.
2025.
So I put January the 1st.
Donc, il faut que je mette 1er janvier
From the election, so January the 6th.
ou bien janvier 6.
So you believe it's number 4.
And Terry is July 18.
Et Thierry le 18 juillet.
Any other options?
Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres options?
Put your hands up if you disagree with any of those.
Alors, levez la main si vous êtes en désaccord.
Put your hands up if you agree with all of those.
Et levez la main si vous êtes d'accord.
Put your hands up if you have no idea.
Et levez la main si vous n'avez aucune idée.
Put your hands up if you're not participating. Online, 60% of the people don't do anything. So I don't know what to make of that. I know. They're coming along for the ride. Okay, so am I the only person that disagrees with that? Yes, of course, I guess. So I'm going to put number 5 for Eleanor. Katia?
Yeah, that's fine. I forgot it was if it was January 6th or January 20.
J'ai oublié si c'était le 6 janvier ou le 20.
Kathy?
Wait till my...
I'm trying to go to all the people I remember put their hand up that they said it was all correct.
I thought hers was the whole year.
I don't mind the whole year. I just want to know when the year begins.
I don't remember.
Sorry? Okay.
No, I agree that if you're using the start date for the year, Elena was late. I agree if the start date for the year is being used, Elena was late, so January 20 I would agree with. That's it.
Was that all good? Translated? How comes I can hear her well? I can hear her from the speaker, not from her voice. Switch it off, unplug it. There's only drinks in there. Carry on, Debbie.
I agree that January 20th would be Elena's late start of the Sunday law. Aryan, I remember he was late in 2025 as well, but I think he with some of his later studies did.
Just tell me the date, not the history.
Well, I thought it was January 20th originally, Aryan's position. But
What does late mean? You said late a couple of times.
he originally at the ICM.
No, with Eleanor, you said late.
Oh. She originally was after the election, or the inauguration, rather, from my understanding, my memory.
So originally she didn't have a date,
Right, she didn't have a date.
and now she's moved to a date.
I thought she had also gone to the whole year, 2025.
Beginning when?
Late, January 20th, inauguration.
You said late again. I don't know what late means. You said late something.
Of the five, she was the latest.
That's irrelevant. I'm just asking for the date.
January 20th.
Okay? How comes nobody argued before? You said number 4, and then you just begin to change. After I objected. I find it interesting. Okay, so hopefully I haven't, collectively we haven't misrepresented anybody. So, seeing as several people have said it is January number 5, I can get out of that and say that one of you said that, not me. So, Arian, if you're listening, drop us a message and tell us what the date is, because nobody's sure what it is. Okay, the point I'm trying to make is that all of these 5 waymarks that we've got are connected to the 2024 election. And nobody is saying anything different. That was quick. So, he said it's July. So we have 3 people saying it's July. 1 November and 1 January. January the 20th. Okay. Any questions? Nora. Just one second.
Didn't Aaron talk with some people and modify his decision and change it to July later after he was teaching?
Aaron. Should Aaron? So, several people tried to brainwash him, succeeded, and then he went back to his old ways. So he was a Novemberer, got converted, and then he went back. I won't tell you the Bible verse about that one, but you can guess. So yes, he has changed a little bit. But I think Debbie said that Arian's changed a little bit too. But now Aaron is laser focused on November. Until we persuade him otherwise. It will come. Any other questions? Okay, so my question is, remember we've got 2 questions to ask them. Why is your study on the Sunday law connected to an election? To me, that's a big change. And then the second one, why the 2024 one? I think if you got those 2 questions answered, collectively we'd move a long way to coming to some kind of consensus position. And we're almost already there. Because I would suggest they're all saying very similar things. Okay, so my question was, for this camp, is it salvational for you? Will it affect your salvation if you get the wrong date? Maybe you've had discussions, maybe you've been online and seen some of the conversations on our forums. And you may have heard people speaking quite strong language that if you don't accept what Elder Terry's teaching, you're going to be lost. Or if you move away from what someone else is teaching, you're going to be in trouble, which means you're going to be lost. So I want to go back to the question. I want you to tell me how you view this question. Because it should be important to you, I think. Gloria. Tell me what do you think is it's salvational to get it right or wrong?
Yes, I think it's salvational to get it right.
So if you and I don't agree, does that mean one of us is going to get lost? or become lost?
No, we're trying to understand the dates, so I think we're on a journey right now. I don't think we'll be lost. Yeah. As long as we keep studying and trying to understand.
So if we get to a place where we say, we'll just agree to disagree, then what? There's no point in talking to you anymore, because you're not changing and I'm not changing.
I think you are trying to bring us to a consensus here, so I don't doubt that we'll be, disagreeing at the end.
So if I'm not able to persuade some of these speakers to change their position, they're going to hold on to it. And they have members who agree with them. What happens to them? Or to the rest of us?
You said to be patient with everybody. Some people can understand it right away, but some are slow to understand, so we just have to be patient with one another.
Okay, so we're in a process of trying to understand and reconcile, but when we get to the end, if we just agree to disagree, that's what I want to try to understand. You think it's salvational?
Yes, I think it's about methodology, and I think you are going through methodology.
Okay, someone else have their hand up? Maka, do you have an open? Do you think it's salvational?
I agree that it is about methodology. But I don't agree that these dates are salvational. Gloria said we're on a journey, and I also agree with that. But I don't think we have to see things the same as each other. I think what's important is to come and examine there might come a time in the future when we all agree, but I also think there might also be a time when we don't agree. I just don't think it means that you're lost if your study has led you to a place where you identify a different day. So no, I don't think you're lost if you have a different day from someone else.
Do you believe we're in the Sunday Law dispensation, that the event has already happened?
Yes, we have multiple witnesses, I believe.
Could you give me one that persuades you that the Sunday Law has already happened?
I believe it's begun. I don't necessarily believe that it's concluded.
Sure, I'm just asking you what that event was that began, that's a witness for you.
Generally speaking, I think of the lamb-like beast that begins to speak as a dragon. So as the laws have been changing in the United States, as we identify as the beast, we can I believe that is witness.
So you see that the Republican Party, having become or voted or become the government, and what they're doing and how they're behaving is evidence for you that we're in the Sunday law.
I feel like I need more witnesses to point to the election being specifically, but there's been a lot of studies. I think for me more it's the laws that followed after the election.
So before the election, before they got into power, the beast was like a lamb.
I believe that their laws were more in line with the Constitution. And there were changes taking place before the elections. But post-elections, it's more evident.
Is that a nuanced answer that basically is yes? Before the election, it was like a lamb, and now it's speaking like a dragon.
For simplicity's sake, I'm going to say yes.
Thank you. And just to finish the point that I think you said, if it's some event that occurred connected to the election, it's not salvational if you don't know which one it was.
Correct. I believe that they are all pointing to the same waymark, the Sunday law waymark. So they're all making the same emphasis, just with slight variations.
Okay, so you don't think there's any, if you were to choose July over November, there wouldn't be something embedded in a particular study that would lead you on a erroneous path? Because the logic between July and November is quite different. And are you saying that both of them lead to the Republican Party being in power? And if I might say the same thing in a slightly different way, in July, when we see the Republican Party nominating Trump, a few months later, he gets inaugurated as the president. So it's just a story from July to January of the rise and confirmation that Trump is the person.
Correct.
So I'll ask you one further question. If I say it's 2028, we've got the wrong election, then is it salvational? Because everything that you're believing now is completely wrong. We're not even there yet.
We would have to take a look at your study and see if it holds weight up against these.
Sure. But if someone's teaching something that's completely different and says all these people are wrong, and therefore you're very wrong, and what you're seeing isn't a fulfillment of prophecy in the way you think it is that salvational?
I still don't think it's salvational. I believe the Sunday law is progressive. I believe that we're correct in identifying these particular elections. But we've been wrong before.
Thank you. Anybody else got any thoughts? David, at the back. Douglas, and sorry, I keep on doing that. I got told off this morning.
So I've been looking at the process for the elections in the U.S. And I came to this website that it's called 2024 Electoral College Results. And they've identified key dates and events and what happened. And I'm keeping in mind that July 18th was the RNC convention where Trump was selected to represent the party. And then the next one was November 5th, which was the election day. The voters in each state chose electors to serve in the electoral college. So the voters in each state chose the electors, to serve in the electoral college. So what I was trying to do is identify at what point was Trump officially the president. So technically speaking, By November 5th, the voters have chosen the electors to serve in the Electoral College.
Le 5 novembre, c'est donc pour choisir le collège électoral.
Then December 11th, 2024, the electors are appointed. They are given a certificate of ascertainment.
Et après, en décembre, donc, ils vont faire, ils vont pas le certifier, mais ils vont le nommer.
So that they can appoint the electors chosen in the election, in the general elections. So December 11th, the electors who are chosen, they are given a certificate of ascertainment.
Donc, le 11 décembre, les électeurs, ils ont choisi, donc on leur donne en gros les certifications.
So December 17th, the electors now select the president and the vice president.
Donc, le 17 décembre, donc là, les électeurs vont choisir le président et le vice-président.
So for me, at this particular point, Trump, yes, has been selected, but they still have to select him. They still have to, like, officially select him.
Donc, oui, Trump, à ce point-là, il est choisi, mais il y a encore des choses à faire.
And then January 6th, they count the votes.
Et le 6 juillet, le 6 janvier, ils vont se réunir pour voter.
And January 20th is the inauguration.
Et le 20 janvier, c'est l'inauguration.
So at the inauguration now, he's officially been appointed the president.
Et le 20 janvier, il est officiellement désigné comme étant président.
So what we see is a process starting from July 18th, a process starting from July 18th to January 20th.
C'est un processus qui commence le 18 juillet et se finit le 20 janvier.
So if we have followed, I know we've been wrong before, but now we believe we have the right methodology. And we have followed that methodology, and it has brought us to this particular point. Where we are marking the waymark of Sunday law. And what I'm still trying to get to terms with is this issue of Revelation 17, the woman and the beast.
Do you have a question?
I'm bringing where I'm confused. Because when we get to Revelation 17, the issue of the woman and the beast, this issue of Sunday law is happening around the same time. And before we could identify the beast and say it's a lion, it's a bear. But now we have this issue. We have this issue where we cannot even identify what this beast is, how it behaves and how it is. And the Sunday law is happening around that time. Sorry. I'm saying the issue that I have is this issue of Sunday law, the waymark.
Donc maintenant, cette question qu'on a sur la balise de la LB,
Is happening around the same time around this issue of the beast of Revelation 17 with the woman and the beast.
en même temps que la femme sur la bête d'Apocalypse 17.
So before, we've been able to identify waymarks right away to a point.
Et avant, il nous était possible d'identifier les balises à un point.
But now we are in this days period where we're trying to identify the woman and the beast.
Et maintenant, il y a ces dates, cette période où nous avons la femme sur la bête.
And the Sunday law waymark is happening around this time.
Et la loi du dimanche, la balise de la loi du dimanche se passe autour de cette période.
And the fact that we've identified is that this period from July 18th to January 20th
Et le fait, c'est d'identifier cette période à partir du 18 juillet jusqu'au 20 janvier.
to be this Sunday way, like to be this Sunday waymark. So now,
Pour la balise de la loi du dimanche. Maintenant,
I know that before we had an issue
je sais qu'avant, on avait un problème.
with identifying a period, a waymark being a period or a point.
Et on avait cette question d'identifier la balise comme un point ou une période.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not sure the point you're making or if there's a question anywhere.
Donc, je ne veux pas t'interrompre par contre, mais je ne sais pas le point que tu essayes de faire.
Okay, so if I can just summarize, the Sunday law waymark, is it a period or is it a point? I think that's the confusion for me.
If it's a period, you have to have a beginning and the end. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that.
And would you agree that you'd want to know what the beginning of that period is?
Yes.
So whether it's a period or a point doesn't make any difference, does it? Because a point and a period both begin at a point. And that's the one that we'd want to be certain about. That's a question.
Yes.
Okay? The next.
That's
So I've just clarified that point.
Yes.
Let me summarize what I've just said. This idea or this confusion that people have about points and periods is, I think, irrelevant. Because if anybody tells you, several people have said, the Sunday law is a year. Or bookending. Don't be confused by those terms. Pin that person down and ask them what the beginning of the year is, what the first book is at the beginning. Because that's the most important thing. And if someone just says it's a period of time, that they're saying that they don't know the answer to the question. All of us should be sure of what that start point is. If we decide that it's not salvational to know, that's the point I wanted to ask. But everybody should know that whether it's a singular event or a period, it has to have a beginning. So that changed from a question to a response, I guess. So you've laid out the process from July to January. You then mentioned Revelation 17. Were you saying that it's interesting or coincidental or providential that the subject of Revelation 17 is happening in the time period of the Sunday law? Is that what you're saying?
My understanding is this issue of the Sunday law is happening around this subject of Revelation 17, where we see a woman riding on a beast.
Is that a surprise too?
It's my understanding. That's my understanding.
Is that what you would have expected?
Correct.
Good. Anyone else? Oh, you had your hand up? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you'd finished. Sorry.
Just to finish so it was like the vagueness. Here, let me use the vagueness because of not being clear exactly about this woman and the best. How he is, how he operates, what he's like right now is equivalent to what this subject of the Sunday law waymark is.
So, then we go. Then we have a go at. Sorry, Murray, I can't hear you. Yeah, I heard that. I understood that. So, who's being vague about the woman and the beast?
Vague might be the wrong word, but that's what in my mind is like the haziness around how this woman and the beast operate right now.
Okay. So, does are you saying that Aaron doesn't understand the woman and the beast properly? Because he hasn't explained them to your satisfaction, it's all vague.
I'm not saying about Aaron, I'm saying for me, that's my confusion right there.
I only mentioned about Aaron because he's on the first of the list. I could just go down. Tell me which one's explaining the woman and the beast without vagueness.
Saying for myself, this is where I am to understand the woman and the beast and the Sunday law issue, but from what I'm looking at, I've not understood yet completely what I can paint that picture and say this is what it is.
Is that code word for none of them?
That's not concluded my investigation with all their studies.
So Ellen may have done that job really well, but you haven't watched her presentation, so you can't comment.
That's
Is that
right.
what you just said?
That's right.
So I just have to tell you to do some more watching, some more studying. I thought you were blaming them for the vagueness.
No, I'm not blaming them.
Okay, you're blaming yourself. Do you have any thoughts on who the woman and the beast is?
Because I've not concluded, I'll just let it go. But from what I'm looking at, I've not understood it completely yet.
Okay. Did you watch the presentations I did recently?
Yes, I watched some of them.
And that was all still vague for you?
I'm still processing them.
Okay. Anyone else? I hope you don't mind. Elder Shemaine, can I ask you if you think it's salvational? No comment? Okay. Jonathan? No comment.
So is the question still, is it salvational? Yes?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about the other question, the opposite of the question. Which would be, is it not salvational? Um, so, from the perspective of, from a prophetic perspective,
D'un point de vue prophétique,
understanding certain truths or understanding truth in general
comprendre certaines vérités ou la vérité en général,
that comes from the methodology that we use in the movement
tiré de la méthodologie utilisée dans le mouvement,
is established based on the understanding of certain events happening on certain dates.
est basé sur certains événements qui se sont passés à certaines dates.
And so, having the knowledge of these dates
Donc, ayant la connaissance de ces dates
and the events that happen on those dates
et des événements qui se sont produits à ces dates,
leads us on a certain path
nous conduisent sur un certain chemin
of truth.
de vérité.
And so, I would say yes, okay, so yes,
Donc oui,
having the right understanding of the events and the dates
donc je dirais que oui, avoir la bonne compréhension sur l'événement et la date,
having the right dates established
en ayant la bonne date établie
and understood
et compris, la bonne compréhension de la date,
would be salvational.
serait donc salutaire.
Because then otherwise, if you choose the wrong date,
Parce que sinon, si vous choisissez la mauvaise date,
you'll be going down the wrong path.
vous allez aller vers un mauvais sentier.
Or we can otherwise ask ourselves, what's the importance of knowing the right date of an event?
Et je me poserai la question, quelle est l'importance de connaître la bonne date d'un événement?
What significance is it to know what the right date of an event is or not?
Quelle est donc l'importance de connaître la bonne date d'un événement ou pas?
Do you have a particular position?
Est-ce que tu as une position particulière?
Yes, I thought I had said yes. I believe it's
Je dirais oui.
salvational. That's my position.
Je dirais que oui, c'est salutaire ce matin.
I'm sorry, I was asking different. Do you have a position if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
Est-ce que tu as une position si c'est le 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
I'm leaning towards July 18, although my studies are not conclusive still.
Bien, je crois que c'est le 18 juillet,
But I'm open to more light and more truth
mais je suis
as it comes to me.
avoir plus de vérité.
So if you went for July
Alors, si tu choisis juillet,
and Eleanor says it's January, you're sort of 6 months too soon,
et Elena dit c'est 6 mois plus tôt,
that becomes a salvational matter.
donc là, ça devient salutaire.
I think it is.
Je pense que c'est le cas.
So it's not salvational.
It is salvational because we're not agreeing on the same dates.
Okay, so it is.
Yes.
C'est salutaire parce qu'il faut connaître la balise
Anyone else?
et la date.
Kathy? Do you have any thoughts? Does it feel salvational to you if you get it wrong?
No.
So whoever's right or wrong, it doesn't rise to the level of salvation.
No.
And is it salvational to know that we're in the Sunday law period?
Oh, I haven't looked at it that way.
It's basically the same question that I asked Maka. Or is it 1 year into it, or we've got 3 years to go?
I'm going to say no.
So it doesn't make any difference if we are in the Sunday law or period or not in the Sunday law period, whether we understand it or not, it makes no difference salvationally.
Correct.
Thank you. Is it salvational to know about Panium? If I were to say it in a sort of a generic way, the Ukrainian war. Is that salvational?
I've not entertained that thought before. I don't know.
Hope you don't feel I'm pushing you. Ellen White says it's the great test. The Sunday law. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And if I said, I don't want to get into the intricacies of it, so I hope I'm not going to get misquoted. I'll say the great test was last Monday. And I didn't see you sit in the test with us. And I didn't see you sit in the test. You weren't in the room with us. That wouldn't worry you? You wouldn't say, oh, I failed. And your answer would be, I didn't know. I thought it was next week.
I guess because I'm looking at a period of time, like 2014 was.
My question was not what the date is. It's to know that you're in that dispensation.
Yes, that would be important.
So my question was, is it salvational to know that you're 1 year, depending on how you calculate, you're at the beginning of the Sunday law dispensation, or it's going to happen in another 3 years? Is it salvational to know?
I need more time.
Okay. So you didn't like my question to say, don't miss the great test.
Correct.
We'll go with Debbie and then... Oh, no, we'll go with David and then come to Debbie.
So I just had a question. If we could define what we mean when we say salvational.
Est-ce qu'on peut décrire le mot salutaire?
Perhaps that will help us to be able to respond maybe more definitively, yes or no, which way, like whatever our position is.
You don't go to heaven. That's how I understand salvational to mean. You don't go to heaven.
Le salutaire, c'est qu'on ne va pas au ciel.
Unless, I don't know if people understand it differently.
À moins que les gens le comprennent différemment.
Is that how you understand it?
Ainsi que tu le comprends.
That's part of it.
Or you understand it in a different way?
Est-ce que tu le comprends différemment?
No, not that I think it's different. I just think that that's not all there is to it. Because it's a process.
Salvation is a process.
Alors, pour moi, c'est pas différent, mais je pense qu'il y a beaucoup plus que ça. Donc, c'est un processus.
Yes.
I agree if we're going to use the idea that of sanctification or the path to salvation, but there comes a point when the world ends that you're either on that side of eternity or this side. It's either eternal death or eternal life.
I agree.
La sanctification, etc. Mais je pense qu'à un certain moment, on sera soit d'un côté ou d'un autre, on aura la vie éternelle ou pas.
I agree with that.
Je suis d'accord.
I think that's how that is what my viewpoint is too.
Okay? So, going to the question that I asked Kathy, I'm not saying this is accurate to what end time prophecy looks like now. But if a group of people stand up one day on Pentecost, in our day and age, and they say, this is the message from God, and someone says, no, it's not, is that a salvational issue? So I'll rephrase it, because they say, come out of her, my people, because Babylon's fallen. And if someone says it looks pretty good to me, we would call that either the great test for them or a salvational message. I thought that's how most of us viewed those models. You can respond or not. It wasn't a specific question to you, sorry.
I'm not sure if you were asking me a question or just making a general statement.
I'll ask you a question. Someone says the Sunday law has happened in 2024 or 2025. And if you say, maybe it isn't, maybe it is. If the person was correct that the Sunday law has happened, is that a salvational thing to either accept or reject that understanding?
Since it pertains to salvation, I would say yes, it is salvational.
Excellent. I don't know if you can, Debbie and Jonathan, can hold your questions till the next presentation. Are you able to remember them? Okay, so I want to summarize. Unless those 5 speakers come back and tell me or you differently, these are the 5 dates or 5 events that they speak about. All of them are connected to the 2024 US election. All of them. So all of these teachers are telling us collectively as a singular voice, the Sunday law has begun.
Et les 5 speakers nous disent que la loi du dimanche a commencé.
We are already in the Sunday law period. If we think of the Sunday law as a waymark, as a singular event, some are saying that's done and dusted, that waymark. Which means that now your focus should be on the next one. Which should be the increase of knowledge. At least one of them is suggesting that the Sunday law event has not ended yet. But all of them are saying we're in the Sunday law. From what I've gathered, if I say there are 2 questions, is it salvational to know what that start date was? That's question 1. Question 2, all of those speakers with a singular voice are telling you it's already started. We're now in the Sunday law. Do you believe that? Do you think there are other options? And is it salvational to believe or to understand that you're in the Sunday law period? Or it won't affect you if you say, I don't believe it. And we really are. If you get it wrong, that's my point. So 2 questions. Is it important to know the start date, salvationally? And is it important to know that you're in that dispensation? And I'm using the word important as a substitute for salvational. Let's pray. Holy God, we thank you. We ask that you would help us to take these issues seriously. Inspiration seems to show us that the subject of the Sunday law is one that affects our salvation. Whether or not we will stand on the right side or the wrong side of the great controversy. We pray that we would have a clearer understanding of these matters. In Jesus' name, amen.